Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Carpenter again, and I'm here to go over your language handbook lesson 12 using commas with coordinating conjunctions, and you will find it on pages 486 and 487 in the back of your Reading I Ready book. Okay, now the skill we're going to be going over today is L42C, which says I can use a comma before a coordinating conjunction in a compound sentence. Now, we need, before we get started, let's think about what we know about conjunctions and let's think about what we know about compound sentences. Now, we know a compound sentence is two simple sentences put together with a comma and a conjunction. So it would be a subject, predicate, a comma, a conjunction, and another subject and predicate. Okay? When we don't put that coordinating conjunction behind that comma, we call that a comma splice error when we use a comma but we don't put that coordinating conjunction in the correct place. Okay, so that's what we know about compound sentences. Now, as far as our coordinating conjunctions, the ones that we use the most, there's an acronym that we fourth grade teachers all pretty much teach, and it's called fanboys, and it stands for some of the most commonly used coordinating conjunctions. F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, and S stands for so. Okay, now for can kind of be used in a because. I need to go to the market because I need milk. I went to the market for I needed milk. Okay, you could use for in that case. And also, that's a very commonly used conjunction. I went to the market and I went to pick up dinner. Okay, nor, I call nor a negative choice. All right, or is a kind of a positive choice. You can have spaghetti for dinner, or I can fix you tacos. Okay, but nor is kind of negative, like I do not want spaghetti for dinner, nor do I want tacos. Okay, so it's kind of a negative part there. All right, but we know means one thing's going to happen and then an opposite does. I wanted to go to the market, but my car didn't start. Okay, yet I kind of it's kind of similar to but. I needed to go to the market, yet it was raining outside. Okay, and then so we use in a cause and effect relationship. I need to go to the doctor because so that I can get medicine to make me feel better. Okay, so these are the ones that we use most often. Now, here we see some of these have been used. The first one says the United States has many national parks. Yosemite is one of the oldest. Now, I take that back. Before we read these, let's go up here and read this to the top. I apologize for that. Sometimes you can make your writing sound less choppy by combining two sentences into a compound sentence. A compound sentence is two sentences joined together by a coordinating conjunction and, but, or so. There's usually a comma before the conjunction. I apologize for not skipping that. Now, let's go back to our example. The United States has many national parks. Yosemite is one of the oldest. As we read that, very choppy. Okay? Now, these two sentences are so similar we can put them together if as long as we coordinate our correct conjunction. Okay? Just like you want to wear shoes that match your outfit, you want to make sure you choose a conjunction that coordinates with your sentence. Okay? So let's look here. The United States has many national parks. Yosemite is one of them. Okay? So we want to coordinate a conjunction that we could put these two together that does not change our meaning of our sentence. It says the United States has many national parks, comma, and Yosemite is one of the oldest. Okay? So yes, that one coordinates there. Okay? Let's go to the next one. It is home to many animals. It also has unusual plant life. I'll hear a lot of redundant words. It and it. We could put these sentences together and make our writing just a little less choppy. It is home to many animals, but it also has unusual plant life. So kind of showing an opposite there. Okay, so we could join them, showing an opposite relationship between the animals and the plant life, but made our sentence writing a little less choppy. The next one, you can camp at Yosemite, you can stay in a hotel. Now, this makes me think I have a choice. Okay, so if I have a choice, I'm probably going to use the conjunction or. You can camp at Yosemite or you can stay in a hotel. Okay, and our last example they give us, I love seeing wildlife. I want to visit Yosemite. Now, this makes me think since I like one thing, something else is going to happen. Okay, so in this case, I need to coordinate a conjunction that makes me kind of think of a cause and effect relationship. And in this case, I think of I love seeing wildlife, so I want to visit Yosemite. Because if I didn't like seeing wildlife, I wouldn't want to visit Yosemite. Okay? Now, we've got a few more examples that we're going to work through before we do our book lesson. Now, let's look at this. Okay? All right, so let's look at example number 1, 2, and 3. Now, in these sentences, we need to figure out where to put a comma and which conjunction coordinates with our sentence. Which shoes matches our outfit, okay? Deer Park is near our home. We seldom go there, okay? Now, it's pretty evident where we need a comma, okay? We are going to need a comma behind home. But we can't just put the comma there, because if we just put the comma there, it's going to change this into a comma splice sentence, because we have a subject, a predicate, and another subject and another predicate. So we can't just put a comma there and not put a conjunction in there. So we need to put a conjunction in there that will coordinate, okay? In this case, one thing happens, but something else doesn't happen. So I'm thinking but would go here. Okay, now let's read that sentence to make sure it fits before we decide on that for sure. Okay, Deer Park is near our home, but we seldom go there. Now, does that fit? I do think it coordinates there. Okay, so our shoes matches our outfit. All right, let's look at 2. The park has hiking trails. It offers riverboat rides. Now, this makes me think that it has more than one thing. Okay, now let's go through our conjunctions and see if which one matches. The park has hiking trails. 4, it offers riverboat rides. I don't think about that. The park has hiking trails and it offers riverboat rides. I do think and could fit there, but let's see if some other ones fit. Okay, if I go through our acronym, NOR. The park has hiking trails, nor it offers riverboat rides. Now, this is positive things it offers. Remember, nor is more of a negative choice. Okay, let's see B for but. The park has hiking trails, but it offers riverboat rides. Maybe it could fit, but I still think and coordinates a little bit better. All right, so we're at or. The park has hiking trails, or it offers riverboat rides. Okay, or could fit. I can't see that it's not. All right, and yet the park has hiking trails, yet it offers riverboat rides. It could fit possibly. I do think and still fits and coordinates the best. All right, and then our last one is so. The park has hiking trails, so it offers riverboat rides. So does it offer riverboat rides because it has hiking trails? Not in this case. So I think and would fit the best, but or I do think could go. Okay, so because you're kind of telling what they both offer, okay, and that they do offer both, or they can offer either one of them. Okay, now our last choice we have is we could hike the trails, we could fish in the river. Now this one makes me think I have a choice. Okay, we could hike the trail, so I could choose to go on the trails, or I could choose to go fish in the river. Okay, so in this case, I am going to put a comma because we have to put our comma in there. And then I do think we could use and as our conjunction. Or we could use or too. I do think that. We could hike the trails or we could fish in the river. So either one of those last two, and or could just about go with either one of them. But that first one, I think, but was probably one of your best choices there. Now, let's go to our examples in our book. Okay, now let's look down at the guided practice. Now, before we get started, let's read our directions and then let's read our hint. I love to read those hints. All right, it says combine. Now, combine means to put together. Combine each pair of sentences to make a compound sentence. Choose the correct coordinating conjunction in parentheses. So, again, we're making compound sentences, but before we do that, we've got to coordinate the correct conjunction for our sentence. Okay, now let's read our hint. Use and when you mean also. Use but when you want to show a difference. Use or when you want to show a choice. Use so when you want to give a reason or show a result, which I call a cause and effect relationship. Okay, so let's look at the first one. You may bring your dog to Yosemite. Dogs are only allowed on paved trails. Now, which conjunction could we best put there so that we could combine these sentences? Now, we have a subject, we have a predicate, so we know that this period right here is going to change to a comma, okay? And now we can't just put the comma there because it's going to be a comma splice. We've got to add a conjunction. And in this case, I do think but would be the best. You may bring your dog to Yosemite, but dogs are only allowed on the paved trails. Now, if you do this, you need to uncapitalize that D on dogs, okay? You would need to uncapitalize that D on dogs. Otherwise, you would have a capitalization error in the middle of your sentence. All right, let's go to choice number 2. There are wild animals in the park. You need to be careful as you hike. So this is telling me one thing is giving a result to something else, okay? Since there are wild animals in the park, we really need to be careful, right? So in this case, I think we need to change this period to a comma. And in this case, I think we need to put so in there, okay? Now, why does so coordinate here? Because since we have wild animal there, we have to be careful. Cause and effect relationship, okay? We don't want to change it. There are wild animals in the park, but you need to be careful as you hike. You always need to be careful as you hike. But since there's wild animals there, it gives it that makes it that the first choice of so sound better. Okay. Now let's look at choice number 3, or excuse me, sentence number 3. You should never leave food out in the open. You must remove your garbage. Now let's look at the two they gave us. You should never leave your food out in the open, but you must remove your garbage. Or you should never leave your food out in the open, and you must remove your garbage. Now, which one do you think correctly coordinates to make this into a compound sentence? Now, if you said put a comma and, you are correct. Now, remember, just like sentence 1, we would need to go back and uncapitalize these first subjects in our second sentences. That way we would not have a capitalization error in our sentence once we combine them. Because when you do combine them, you do want to make sure that they are grammatically correct, that capitalization is correct, and punctuation is correct, and so forth. So always make sure that when you do combine them that you go back and uncapitalize some of those things. Okay? Now, we're going to go over to our independent practice. Now, for our independent practice, it says, for numbers 1 through 4, what is the correct way to write the underlined part of each sentence? Now, I'm going to, I want you to pause this video for just a couple of minutes. You probably need 5 minutes max, okay? And go through and answer these questions. And Miss Carpenter will be back in just a moment to go over these answers with you, okay? So pause that video now. All right, we're back. Now, you should have had plenty of time to pause your video and to go over your correct answers and to find your correct answers and be able to go back with your video paused. You should have been able to go back and forth between our introduction part of our lesson and this lesson to be able to make sure you were coordinating the correct conjunction in your sentence. Now, let's look at sentence number 1. It says Yosemite became a national park in 1890, and today millions of people explore it. Now, we know there's something wrong in this underlined part. Okay? Now, in order to correct this sentence correctly, we should have put a comma behind 1890. And if you go down here and find the answer choice that has a comma behind that, you should have chosen C. Choice C is in cat. Okay? Now, because we cannot combine these two sentences with a conjunction and not put a comma there. Okay? We want to make sure we use a comma and we coordinate our conjunction. All right, sentence two. At Yosemite's museum, you can read books, so you can look at photographs on the wall. Okay, now if we look at this sentence, okay, yes, it is missing another comma, just like our sentence number one was. But if you read the sentence, it doesn't quite make sense. Let's reread it. At Yosemite's museum, you can read books, so you can look at photographs on the wall. So you got to be able to read the books before you can look at the photographs. I don't think that's what they mean here. Okay, so if we go down through here and we look, okay, we see the conjunction or, so, or but. So we need to be looking for a different conjunction. Okay, so first of all, if you let's look at choice A. At Yosemite's museum, you can read books or you can look at photographs on the walls. Yes, that is it. You're correct. It A is an apple. They put a comma behind the word books, but then they changed that coordinating conjunction to or instead of so, because up here, so is a cause and effect. Down here, we didn't want a cause and effect relationship. We wanted to be able to do either one of them. Okay? Now, sentence three. Sentence three says, the park is open all year round, but some of the roads close in the winter. Now, we again, all right, whoever wrote these sentences, they just forgot their commas, okay? Because we have a subject, a predicate, a conjunction, and another subject and predicate, but they failed to put in their comma there. And without that comma there, this is what we would call a run-on sentence. And Miss Carpenter went over those sentences a few weeks ago. A run-on sentence, two sentences that were joined together incorrectly. So in order to fix this simple error, we just needed to add a comma behind round. And if you chose B, you were correct. Okay? The park is open all year round, but some of the roads close in the winter. That sentence would now be grammatically correct. It would not be a run-on sentence. Okay? Now, number 4 is our last one. Yosemite is filled with natural wonders, or enjoy it when you visit. That does not make sense. Let's read it again. Yosemite is filled with natural wonders. Now that sounds good. All right. Or enjoy it when you visit. Now, I'm sorry. That or does not fit there. Okay. Those shoes just does not match the rest of that outfit. Okay. So we need to go and find another conjunction that will coordinate better than that. Okay, the first one they gave us was but. Yosemite is filled with natural wonders, but enjoy it when you visit. Nah, I don't think so. Let's look at B. All right, Yosemite is filled with natural wonders, so enjoy it when you visit. Hey, that sounds good. But when I look down here, choice B is missing a comma. Okay, so again, it's going to be a run-on sentence. If I put the correct conjunction in there, but then I leave the comma out, it's still really not correct. Let's go to C. Yosemite is filled with natural wonders, so enjoy it when you visit. Yeah, there's the so, and they also put the comma in front of it. So C would be our correct answer there. So to go back over those, number 1 was C, number 2 was A, number 3 was B, and number 4 was C. Now, boys and girls, the point of this lesson is just to help our writing be less choppy, as they were talking about at the very beginning. If you can combine those sentences together that have the same subjects or maybe talking about the same topic, you make your writing flow, okay? we like to read writings that flow. And so if we like to read writings that flow, we need to write writings that flow. Okay. And so we want people to enjoy our writing just as much as we enjoy other people's writing, okay, other authors and so forth. Now, if you have a question about this lesson, please do not hesitate to talk to your teacher. Again, there's more videos on commas and coordinating conjunctions on our helpful video link list that your teachers have shared with you. Please go back and watch one of those. One of my favorites is Schoolhouse Rock, Conjunction Junction. Okay, Miss Carpenter and most of your teachers watched that when we were in school. So please share with your teacher if you have any issue. I look forward to seeing you guys again.